I think work-life balance is a myth. Work-life balance.
Topic number 2 here, work-life balance. All right, so work-life balance. This is an interesting topic just in general because most people aren't professional athletes. They can't just dedicate their entire life to health and fitness. So we got to work. We got to figure out how to make it all balance. Before, I was asking you about which perspective you want to go about it from. Do we want to talk about work-life balance overall or work-life balance as it pertains to health and fitness? I think we can maybe touch on both. I don't think it's too crazy. So, where shall we start?
I think work-life balance is a myth.
Okay, this is an interesting topic that I didn't think of, but I like it. So I think what you're getting at is the idea of balance is not necessarily, it doesn't have to mean 50-50.
Yep.
It can mean 70-30, it can mean 80-20, 90-10, whatever. I think that's a pretty important thing. So what do you think on that?
So if you want to be the best, you have to give up a lot of stuff. You have to sacrifice, right? So if you want to be good, at least in phases, I think you need to, whatever good is for anything, you have to pick something and focus on it more than everything else in your life. So that could mean one day I want to focus on improving my body composition. So that means my marriage and my work I'm going to pay a little less attention to because I know at the end of the day, it'll make me better at those two other things.
Yeah.
So just like you would periodize training in any athletic event, you should periodize your work-life balance so that you can focus more deeply on individual topics.
I agree.
You can't ever go zero, like 100 and 0. Nothing could ever hit 0 because then you're making too many sacrifices. And that could be good for one thing, but not good for you as a human being.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit 0 sometimes if you want, take a week off from something, you know?
Sure, but I mean, I guess I'm thinking longer term, but I don't think you should ever hit 0. A week off of exercise, you still need to walk around.
Fair
A
enough.
week of laying in bed, that's probably a bad idea.
Fair enough. I agree that, like I was saying before, when we talk about balance, you have to address what that even means because it doesn't have to be 50-50. It can be whatever that percentage is. And if we're talking just about health for a moment or like an exercise program, you need to fit it into your life somehow. Some people might hate exercise, but they just know they have to do it to be healthy. And so they just basically want to do the bare minimum that is acceptable. And so that might look like a 95 everything else and 5% exercise. Some people might not only enjoy exercise, but it's maybe part of their sport, or it's just like a almost a meditative thing,
Or part of their job.
or part of their job, or a social thing, or whatever. And so maybe their ideal balance, if they're doing 95-5, they feel like something's wrong, and they need to do more like 75-25 or whatever it might be. Or if it's their job, like you said, it might be like 50-50, you know? So yeah, identifying what the balance is for each topic in your life, each area of your life that makes you feel like you are progressing the way you want to progress and getting like the fulfillment or the purpose out of whatever that is, whether it's a job or a relationship or an exercise program. You got to figure out what that balance is for you.
Yeah. So, Ty, I want you to imagine
Imagining.
you're polyamorous.
Oh, God. I'm not, but let's keep going.
We're imagining you have 3 wives.
Wait, whoa. I don't like this already. This is a little homophobic.
All right, you have 3 husbands.
I don't like that either. Let's say 2 wives and 1 husband.
Why only 1 husband? All right, fine. You have four significant others. You have 2 husbands and 2 wives. So if you only so you take a day, divide it into 4, that's 6 hours. 2 of those hours for each one is going to be sleeping. So if you give each one of them 4 hours of your time, none of them are going to be happy.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, trying to stay in the moment, trying to switch between husband A, husband B, wife B. So what I think the best way to go is just to say, if none of them are going to be happy for 3/4 of the time, fuck the 3, leave them alone. They get 1 hour.
You gotta choose your words more carefully when you're talking about polyamory.
You heard what I said. 1 hour, fuck them. And then the rest of your quality time is with person A. And then every week or every day, another person gets the majority of your attention.
Yeah.
So you call it a week, you call it a quarter, a month, a year. I think that all of them will be happier. Everyone, including you'll be happier in the long run if you can really dive deep into something, because I think that's so important. Just actually getting a full perspective on what is capable in an area. And then you can back off and spread it out. But I don't think a 30-30-30 or a 25% split times 4, I don't think that works at all.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't want to go too far down the polyamory metaphor just because I feel like that's a whole nother discussion.
So let's call it like you have your physicality, you have your mental health and well-being, you have your social requirements, and then I would say monetary would be like a 4th category.
Okay.
Because that kind of like, as we have to work. To be realistic, unless you win the lottery, it's just something you have to do. So you either enjoy it or you don't. It has to be done.
It has to be done. Yep.
So I think when you're younger, you should prioritize the things that are not health related. As you age, you should switch over to focus more on health and well-being. I mean, your mental health is important because it's going to make you better at everything. If you're stable, happy, like you are generally in a positive state of mind. So you sacrifice. So then when you're 40, 50, 60, 100, you shouldn't be worrying so much about money because you're running out of time.
Right. Totally makes sense there. So I was just looking over my notes here, and some of the things I wrote down were when it comes to work-life balance, whatever it is that you're trying to focus on or prioritize on, I think it's one concept here is discipline over motivation, because motivation fades, discipline can last.
Yeah,
so I think you have to really you have to suck it up. Once you decide how you're going to split your time, you kind of have to like you're saying, be diligent with it. And if it's a new thing that you're trying to learn, you go deep on it for a short period of time until you understand enough, and then decide whether to go in or out. But you need that discipline. But as far as like physicality goes, health and wellness goes, I think one of the biggest things you can do to improve your work-life balance, arguably for your overall health, could be your nutrition.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Because you have to eat anyways. So as long as you're making good choices there, you don't have to necessarily add time in your day, right? Because you're going to eat either way. So if you get that under control, you can make a lot of progress and a lot of maintenance in your health without having to put an extra hour in to go to the gym or something like that. So if something's going to fall off on the physical exercise component, you can make up or at least maintain part of it with the nutrition piece. So I think that's huge.
So I guess if you're thinking about habits, so you should dive into nutrition as early as you can. So that way you don't need as much of that day if you have 100%, because now you've developed good habits.
Yes.
So you can commit less brain power, like Steve Jobs wearing the same outfit every single day.
Or willpower for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. So you just know what you have to do and you just execute it. And then your balance doesn't have to go into nutrition anymore. You can kind of go to that 1%.
Yeah, I think that's huge, because you can get away if your diet's on point.
Yep.
And it's a habit that you've grown with that's not really requiring you to exert much willpower, then you can miss a lot of formal exercise or training, you can put it on hold if you need to for a
Right.
couple months and be okay. Maybe you just go for like a walk once a day, or you do like a jog, or you don't need to do anything extensive if you have that nutrition under wraps.
Yeah, I guess I would call that a cornerstone habit.
Yeah. hmm
And I would
So
say it's more important than exercise.
I think it is, definitely. I think it's the best thing you can do for yourself. And like I said, you're going to eat anyways. So just do it right, and you'll save yourself a lot of time there, so you can have a good more time to allocate to those other things in your balance there.
So you can look at it two ways, in my opinion. You can look at it as percent of focus, or you can look at it as percent of time.
I think they both matter though.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that if you are going to give something a percentage of time, I think intensity of focus matters more.